first female president, Pam Kiltau. Welcome. We have our very own Dr. Doug. Even if he is a Ravens fan, we're still welcoming him. And we've got Lance Drywit Chima, 2013 president, who was one of the folks that I was most amused by when I came to the club with his sense of humor. So Pat, without further ado, can you please take it away and run this panel discussion?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Someone's
like
speaking.
Getting a little background noise.
Well, you guys need the facts. That is the director's job, 100%. And Clancy wants you to send out an email. Guess whose name?
I'm not
Cheryl?
sure who that is.
Cheryl, are you able to mute the other participants?
I think he just
There we
got
go.
muted.
Okay. Terrific. Well, thank you, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Pat O'Neill, and I am a past president of the Rotary Club, preceded Dr. Rob McGregor. And while today is about the past presidents, and there are others on this call outside of those on the panel, I just wanted to take the opportunity to recognize our current president, Dr. Rob McGregor. You're doing an outstanding job. Just admire the work that you're doing to lead our club during this time. So thank you, Dr. Rob. So it is my pleasure. We have 3 past presidents on the call today. So we're going to take the opportunity to learn a little bit about them personally, learn about their time during their years with the Rotary Club, learn a little bit about their leadership as a president, and really just take this opportunity to learn what makes Rotary and our club and everything that we're involved in so special to each of these individuals. So as Dr. Rob mentioned today, I would like the 3 panelists, Pam Kiltau, Dr. Doug Hausknecht, and Lance Chima, to go ahead and introduce themselves. And if they would just introduce themselves, share what you do for a living briefly, and talk about how long you've been a member of Rotary and when you served as president. So Pam, if you would go ahead and kick us off, please.
Thanks, Pat. So I've been a Rotarian for 33 years. So double threes. And so when I think about that, I was 29 years old when I joined Rotary. So as the first woman, it was a bit of a challenge, and it was something that I really didn't even want to do. So I can get into that a little bit later, but I will tell you, it has been a life-changing adventure. And I work at Baird, Robert W. Baird. I'm a financial advisor, CFP. I have been in my line of work for 44 years. I started actually September 1st of 76 in my job, and then I actually joined Rotary September 1st of 87, so right before the stock market crash. So that was kind of interesting in and of itself. So thanks, Pat. Anyways, we can get into whatever else you want us to do later, but I love Rotary, and I have friendships that have lasted and that will continue to last a lifetime. And I can pick up the phone anytime and call Rotarians, and they're there. So it's just been life-changing for me.
Wonderful. Thank you, Pam. Lance, would you go ahead and introduce yourself, please?
Okay, there we go. So thank you, Pat, and it's great to be here today. I'm going to start by saying that I am so grateful that I am not president right now, or when Pat, you were last year. I don't think I could have done it during COVID. What a awesome challenge, but what a great success story we've been through it all. So my hat's off to you, Pat, and Dr. Rob for, I couldn't think of a couple better folks to lead us through this difficult time. So thank you. You may or may not know, but I was a Hudson Rotarian from 1990 to 1995. And it gave me a lot of good experience to see what other clubs like. I visited many other clubs, and it was really cool. The Hudson Club was really big on fines. George Franchino was the sergeant of arms, and he would fine you if you didn't have your pin or if you came in late, or they spent 20 minutes a meeting fining everybody. So it was a different kind of an experience. They had a table. I understand that Akron Rotary had a similar table. They had a table of old guys that had all been there, done that. And if you came and tried to sit at their table, they wouldn't let you sit there. And so anyhow, I was there till 95, and then I came back to Akron. But my cousin and father were both Akron Rotarians, so I kind of had to wait for them to either die or retire or get out, and until then I joined Akron. So like Pam, it's been one of the best experiences of my life. I've made friends that I wouldn't trade for the world. Relationships that I've made in Rotary have just been outstanding. I'm a third generation owner of Chima Travel that my son Brian and I run. And we're just grateful to be in the community and can't wait for people to start traveling again. So it's great to be here today. Thank you.
Wonderful, Lance. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Dr. Doug, would you go ahead and introduce yourself, please?
Certainly. I am, my picture didn't change, so I assume that you can see me. I am sitting in my office in the Polsky building at the University of Akron, from which I retired 2 years ago, but that didn't stick. So I'm back teaching and still doing some of that stuff, just helping out and that sort of thing. I started in Rotary, I think it was 96. Katie mentioned the Mustel store. I volunteered with the Mustel store through the JCs, the model kind of helping to build Rotaract on. Jenny Bueno found me through the work that we were doing at the Mustel store, recruited me into Rotary, and I joined, got inducted, and immediately left for 6 months in Australia, where I got to be the long-time visiting member from the United States in a Rotary club there for the 6 months that I was visiting, and came back. I was the Rotary Centennial President, the 100 years of Rotary. So that's sort of unique identity throughout Rotary, and have been active since, and brought a number of people through the university to Rotary. And by the way, when I was in the JCs, there were a couple of Dougs on the board, and just to keep things straight, that's kind of how I became Dr. Doug to everybody. It was, okay, this one's Dr. Doug, and the other one's just Doug, and that part stuck.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Dr. Doug. So kind of the next follow-up question, we talked a little bit about how each of you have maybe got introduced to Rotary. All three of you have been Rotarians for 20 plus years. Maybe talk about some of the impact that being a Rotarian and being a member of our club has had on your life. So just kind of generally, what kind of impact has it had? So whoever wants to go ahead first, take it away.
It's like class. Nobody wants to just jump in and start talking. So,
Go ahead, Dr. Doug.
but I'm used to that a little bit. So, because I was teaching international business at the university, I had the opportunity to travel around the world quite a bit. And one of the things that Rotary provided to me was, like, in any country, any city that I'm in, if I can find a meeting, I can walk in and I've got anywhere from 30 to 300 best friends all of a sudden. I was in Sao Paulo, Brazil, with a group of graduate students. Couldn't find a meeting that met my schedule, and I stumbled into a convention of district governors from Brazil meeting in the hotel. I wandered in and said, I'm not a district governor, but I'm a Rotarian. Can I crash your meeting for a little while? And I did. So I think just the friendships locally, the friendships regionally, the friendships globally, and it's always the people that I take away from Rotary.
In a similar vein, Dr. Doug, I've always said, where else can you go on a Tuesday? Well, this is pre-COVID, right? So where else can you go and sit down next to the chief medical officer of Akron Children's Hospital, a local attorney, a CPA, an insurance guy, you name it. You can go have lunch for an hour, pick their brain, and not end up with a $320 bill at the end of the lunch. So it's just again the relationships through Rotary are just terrific. I wouldn't trade that for the world.
Well, for my journey, I think at the beginning it was all about trying to find my place as a female, a 29-year-old in Rotary, when there weren't any. So, here's our, it's backwards, but it's our, Steve Schechter would enjoy this. This is our 87, 88 roster. And there's two of us in there, myself and Deborah Sessick from Buckingham. And so it was all about, being ready for that luncheon, finding a chair. So, we did have that old group of guys. And of course, I dared not sit there, but I did have Dr. Schmidt and Steve Schmidt, who's a physician at, who was a physician at SUMA and now UCOM. I believe he's doing some research there, and Ken Whitnauer. So those two guys took me under their wing. They both happened to be gay gentlemen, but they were married to women at the time. So it was one of those times where you just didn't share that information, but they embraced a woman being in the club, and they got me involved. So Steve was in charge of Polio Plus. Ken was doing some stuff with child advocacy, and they got me involved. And so my journey became one of trying to fit in, trying to be a good role model so that they'd ask other women, and staying the course. And so staying the course was tough because I felt defeated at times. But then, of course, being the first female, I was also the first female on the board. And then Greg Bean asked me to be a president. And so I followed that Steve Schechter. And so that was quite a challenge in and of itself, because he has such a presence on the microphone. So I bought myself a couple good books, a speaker's lifetime library book. I still have this. This was my Bible. Honest to God, it was my Bible. It's this thick, and it's anything and everything. So trying to prepare for the meetings as a president was more than what I had anticipated. But honestly, it's just been quite an adventure, and I have loved each and every moment of it, especially when I can look back and reflect.
That's wonderful, Pam. Thank you for sharing that. And just to kind of dovetail on what you talked about, we have some newer Rotarians participating on this call today. We have some potential Rotarians, prospective members. How would you recommend newer Rotarians and prospective members get involved in the club, make the most of being a member of the club? And I'll leave it up to you, or you could pass it off to Lance or Dr. Doug if you'd like.
Well, what I would say is just find somebody that you can latch on to. And it may not be that mentor that's assigned to you. We didn't have mentors back then, but without the people and the men that didn't make me feel welcome. So you had Roger Reed made me feel really welcome. Of course, Steve, you did as well. And, Bud Rogers and some of those guys that really came up and said, it doesn't matter that we lost 25 members because you're here. It matters that you're going to make a difference. So you're going to make a difference. And so you just need to, if you can find that person that will help you in your journey with Rotary, you're going to be so much better off. And whether it's with the camp, because we have a lot of opportunities there, or, with the Chili Open, or, Rotaract, which Dr. Doug has, made sure that's him and Steve Bowie have really done a great job with all those. We tried that back in the day. It never worked. So things work at different times. Just find something that you're passionate about. And there's so many Rotarians that you can find one of us that will help you out. Just give us a call.
Thank you. Lance or Dr. Doug, do you have anything to add?
Oh yeah, I mean, any just to involve yourself in anything and everything, whether it's after hours functions, reading to kids, just going with just following, we have so many mentors in this club, and just hanging out with them and learning the ways of Rotary. And mean, just go spend an afternoon with Steve Bowie, and you'll learn more than you'll ever bargain for.
Thank you.
One of the things for the newer members, just to kind of follow up on these thoughts, is we have Club Runner and you have access to Club Runner. So you don't get to see all the people that Lance was talking about at lunches, but take a little time and kind of scroll through and see who's a member of Rotary, and don't be bashful about dropping an email or a phone call and say, hey, I'm a new member of Rotary. Can we get together and I can pick your brain? Most everybody in the club's open to that sort of thing. So, yes, we got mentors, but don't just wait for that. If there's somebody that that you want to talk to, give them a shout.
I agree wholeheartedly. Thank you, Dr. Doug. I forgot to mention, if anybody has questions for any of the panelists, go ahead and type those in the chat box. We have about 9 minutes left. So if you have any pressing questions, go ahead and chat those, and we will get to those. So moving on to the next question. Obviously, with 20 or more years as a member of the club and still active, all three of you in the club and all of the service projects that we're engaged in, maybe share one of your fondest memories of being a Rotarian, and it can really be anything at all. But if you have any memories that you'd like to share, go ahead and do that. And Pam, I saw you take your mute off, so go ahead.
I have so many memories. I had to write them all down, and I didn't know really which one. So I have props, because I think props help. But this dress, I have to show you this dress. So back in the day, see this dress, like gorgeous, has a slit up. It's just like gorgeous, right? So back in the day, can you see? We used to have black tie galas for the President's Ball. Wow. And, I always loved dressing up. I was a little sad to see that go, but it was black tie. They were done at country clubs. So they were done often at Portage when I first joined. And so being able to dress up and wear a dress like that and then just celebrate with all of our Rotarians was a lot of fun. So that's a favorite memory. And I can't, I also have to say the poker run. So a lot of you may not know about our motorcycle thing that we did. So we had a poker run. I went to Sturgis in 2006. I came back and we had our camp cookout at the camp, and I was talking to Mr. Herrig. So I was talking to Jack. I said, geez, we need another fundraiser. How about, the lakes and motorcycles? How about we do that? And he's like, this is where ideas happen. It's when Rotarians get together and we talk about stuff. He said, nothing's impossible. He said, you just need to make a plan and bring it to the board and tell them how they're not going to lose any money by taking on this adventure. So we took on that adventure. We had a ball. We did it for about 4 years. And there's nothing like getting Rotarians together for great causes. And we have so many things that they're doing right now that I don't even know everything that we're doing right now. So hats off to our club and all that we do for everyone else. So thanks.
Thanks, Pam. Love the prop, love the dress. That's amazing. Lance, go ahead.
One of the coolest things that happened to me was watching my son Brian get inducted during my presidency, which I was really grateful to have happen. Another thing was during my term, turns out that our club turned 100 years old. And all of a sudden, that just kind of happened. Hey, by the way, we're going to have this centennial celebration this year. And I'm thinking, who on earth was thinking with me as president during that famous year? So it was quite an experience, a great time for our club also. And then I remember a time when we went to president-elect training in Columbus, and so when the year that you prior to becoming president, they have a number of training sessions for you. So we went to Columbus. We're in a breakout room. There's probably 20 president-elects sitting around, and we're talking about our service projects for the year. And they were the guy in charge. He was calling on people, and they were going around the circle telling what they do. And so one club is having a pizza raffle. Yeah, I don't know. They were selling pizzas, you know, and they were going to make $2,000 for at their event. And then, you know, the next club was doing something else. And they finally got to me, and I said, well, our club has this unique chili open. And this past February, I can't remember the specific number, but it was like $180,000 we raised for camp. And you could hear a pin drop, and everybody looked at me, and the moderator said, you know, I think you better go back and check your numbers, because, you know, that just doesn't jive. And I'm like, no, we have a club that you would not believe that stands, you know, we raffle off a car, we have blimp rides, you know, you got Sports Time Ohio donates, you know, thing. And so anyhow, it just kind of blew everybody's mind. But I think the most, the really coolest thing is if I look at the gallery view of everybody in this club right now who was there prior to me, every person here has impacted me. And I always hate to name names because I know I'll leave somebody out, but Cheryl and Steve Schechter and Jack Herrig and Dan Riemenschneider, and, you know, just on and on. Everybody here was just such a great mentor to me. Dr. Doug, you know, Pam, if you ever have a question, there's always somebody to turn to. There's no fear of failure because everybody's got your back and everybody's looking out for you, and we'll see to it that you just rock the year as president. So never be afraid to step up to the plate and do it, because there's just so much help. Mary Weaver was, you know, I called her, I don't know how many times. So it just went on and on, just the great people in this club. So I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Hey, this is Jerry Kiefer, and I've got 10% on my phone before it dies. My mother would like to give a donation.
I'm Jenny Duano. I'm going to be 91 years old tomorrow, and I would like to give $91 to the Rotary Club.
Wonderful.
God bless.
Thank you so much, Jenny.
Yeah.
Happy
She
birthday.
It's her birthday tomorrow. We're just finishing a bottle of wine at Mustard Seed, and my phone is about to conk out. But she's going to give $91, right? Look into the screen.
I can't see a thing.
Well, that's okay. She's fine.
We can see you both. Thank
Okay,
you so
so-
much, and happy
So
birthday.
we love you. My phone is just about to conk out. Have a good day.
Bye-bye. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
They got it. You're going to send $91. Yep. Okay.
Great. Well, that segues well into
Okay.
okay.
They got it?
They got it.
Thanks.
We
Thanks,
got
Jerry.
it.
I guess I've still got some phone left. Hey,
Yeah,
Doug, how are you?
Good.
Okay, bye.
Good to see you. And
Yeah, I'll mute this before it dies. It
Okay.
will die.
Thank you.
that'll segue real quick, well into my quick comments about the scope of Rotary, everything from the small family of Rotary when we need family. Again, I said Ginny brought me into Rotary, and I still think of her and Jerry as family. And there have been other occasions in Rotary where we've come together as family, but all the way up to Rotary International and going to some of the international conventions. I remember posting on Facebook once upon a time, sorry guys, I have to go because my phone's giving out and I'm about to go into a meeting with Bill Gates. Well, yeah, I was going into a meeting with Bill Gates. There were 20,000 people in the room, but technically I was in a room in a meeting with Bill Gates because of the Rotary Convention.
Wow, that's incredible. Thank you for sharing, Dr. Doug. We're at 12:59. I just want to take this opportunity to kind of wrap it up, and I'll kick it back to Dr. Rob. But I want to say thank you to Pam Lance and Dr. Doug for just sharing your memories and your insight. And just want to share a few of the notes that I wrote down, and just to reiterate these points with our club. But you know, the advice of finding someone in the club to the newer members to latch onto, and really finding your passion. I think our club is in so many different areas of service that, you know, there's the opportunity for every one of us to kind of find our area of passion and get involved. And really, you know, Lance said, really everybody in this club has each other's backs. Rotarians love helping other Rotarians and watching each other succeed. So it's an amazing club. I've been privileged to be a part of it for just 5 short years, but look towards many, many memories of being in this club together. So thank you all. I think this was a successful format and would love to do it again, maybe sometime in the springtime. So with that, Dr. Rob, I'll kick it back to you.
Well, thank you, Pat. That was wonderful. And it was really nice to get some more insight from Pam, Dr. Doug, and Lance. I had said at the onset, I had hoped right before the pandemic that I would get to have several of the past presidents together to give me advice. And then the pandemic hit. So some of you got interviewed by phone, and most of you I'm still trying to catch up with. So thanks for sharing your wisdom and your inspiration. And it's very clear the affection that you have for this club. And I hope all of us can recognize that that's valuable to us moving forward.